Hi again, and thank you for tuning into Marketing Automation Made Simple podcast. This is your host, Jovana, and I'm on a mission to simplify the world of marketing and automation for small business owners around the world so they can save time, money, and scale their businesses faster. Today's episode is all about time. How do we make more time to do what we want in our personal or business life? This year, we get to enjoy an extra day in February. It's the leap year. What are we going to do with all this extra time? That is a great problem to have that we're going to solve today. Today, I'm speaking with Jeff Rohrs, the VP of Brand Marketing at intelligent marketing automation provider ActiveCampaign, which is a platform that we love to use. We've been using for the last 10 years. Jeff is a published author, recovering attorney, bacon lover, a beekeeper, and a former band member. I'm sure he can tell us more about how he finds time to do all of this, as well as run an amazing marketing team at ActiveCampaign, who are also busy working on the ActiveCampaign Leap Day Extravaganza event. Thanks for joining me, Jeff. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jovana. Great to be here.
So this event that you guys are planning to do, ActiveCampaign Leap Day event, which is an amazing concept. What has inspired you to do this?
Well, it was actually my colleague, Meg, who runs our brand communications. Back in November, we had our first on-site as a team. I've just been with the company about 8 months. And back in November, we met and she said something like, boy, wouldn't it be great if in B2B marketing, we owned a day like B2C marketing owns Black Friday? And as I probed that a little bit, the light bulb went off and I realized that 2024 was going to be a leap year. And it struck me as odd that as modern as we think we are, every 4 years, we have to literally make 24 hours out of thin air to catch our calendar up. If you really think about that, it's kind of odd. It's kind of funny. It shows that maybe we're in control of time more than we thought. But as a intelligent marketing automation platform, ActiveCampaign is in the business of making time all the time. We are basically a printing press of time if used properly, because automation, as you said in your intro, is about saving time. You take things that are, arduous tasks or things that if you did them manually would take hours and hours, and you automate them and you reclaim that time and put it back into your business in more productive, more profitable ways, or you put it into your life so that you can spend time with family and friends and pursue the things that you love. And that was the seed of the idea. What if we put together a free global virtual event that wasn't an ActiveCampaign user conference? Instead, it was a conference about how to make more time. And what if we brought along for the ride a lot of other similarly situated technology companies, speakers, folks who had great conversation and intellect and expertise about how to be more efficient, how to be more productive, how to use technology, strategy, and process to ultimately use time more wisely and effectively make more time. And that's the theme of the event. So every speaker will be talking about that on the entirety of the 29 hours of the event on February 29th. And we're doing that because of the magic of time zones. And we're starting at 8 a.m. Sydney time in Australia and running until 6 p.m. Los Angeles time in the US on Leap Day. So that's how you get 29 hours in a 24-hour day.
So this is amazing, 29 hours on the 29th. Do we expect business owners to join us for 29 hours?
I am so glad you asked that because I'm really afraid that people are going to be like, I don't have 29 hours. No, you do not have to be crazy like me and participate in all 29 hours. I kind of have to be there to make sure this thing stays on the rails. What we're doing is allowing people to dip in and out. And as I said, we've linked arms with other companies. So we've got 3 great title sponsors, Calendly, Goldcast, and The Juice. Calendly is synonymous with time, right? It's all about scheduling and making it easier to schedule your time and with other people's time. The Juice is an incredible B2B marketing content site that saves you time by when you fill out a profile, it basically just distills the things that you should be hearing and sends them to you via email. Well, then there's Goldcast, and that's the event platform we're using. And so Goldcast is wonderful because when you register for this event, you're going to get a magic link. And that magic link, when the event starts there in Australia on the 29th at 8 a.m. Sydney time, you're going to click that and be in the event. Now, let's say that you need to step out for a couple of hours. No problem. You step out, you close your browser, you come back, click that link, you're back into the event. Now, let's say there's some content that you missed during those 29 hours. We're going to have this available on demand through the end of March. So the idea was let's really knock it out of the park for Leap Day and do something different and really get people to think about time in a different way. And that's the 29 hours on the 29th concept. But we are making it available on demand for folks because we want them to get maximum value.
It's also a free event for people to attend.
Totally free, thanks to all of our great sponsors. And we did that because what we discovered is that everybody, regardless if you're a B2B SaaS company, you're a small business, you're a consultant, you're an agency, you're an e-commerce company, it seems like every conversation I'm having is about how to do more with less. And everybody's having to be scrappy. There are a lot of changes happening in marketing right now. The rise of AI, the degradation of Google search in some ways, where now it's dominated by paid placements and Google's own content. That has changed the dynamics. And so all of these changes really put a lot of pressure on marketers to understand, how do I reach my audience? And they also put a lot of pressure on them to make sure they're getting maximum value on their spend. And so the virtual event means you've got no cost of travel. I know we were all burned out after COVID on virtual events, but as they came back, and as here I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, so we're in the dead of winter. I know that's the exact opposite for Australia, so you actually have a reason to go outside. However, we thought, let's invest in this and put more sweat equity than dollars. That's really what it is. It's all of these different sponsors. And if you go to the website for the event, which is leapday.activecampaign.com, you will see over 25 sponsors, and all of them are promoting this to their audiences. And it's all about lifting each other up. And that's the great thing about owned media and audiences, that, yes, we have advertising that we're capable of doing, but we also have these audiences, our email subscribers, our customers, our partners, our communities. And what if we banded together and all of us promoted this event to them? We could reach a lot of folks, a lot of businesses, and help them, again, make more time and be more efficient, more productive, more profitable in 2024.
Yeah, it's a great event. I always think of ActiveCampaign as a belly of an octopus, and everything else that happens are really the tentacles that we're driving everything into ActiveCampaign. And ActiveCampaign is a database. It's an asset that every business owner needs to intelligently use and optimize. And I think it's a great time-saving tool for a lot of business owners. And I know, especially for us, and it helps me in our business, is we love to travel. So how do we make more time to travel and visit different locations around the world? And I think, a lot of business owners want that.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And it's a really good analogy, because this event is a reflection of ActiveCampaign itself, because ActiveCampaign has, nearly 1,000 integrations out of the box that you're doing with all sorts of different technologies that are sources of data or action with your audience, so that you can have the right message, the right time to the right person, leveraging that data, be it that they have an abandoned shopping cart and you need to get a message out so that they come back, close that sale, and you recoup that revenue. Or perhaps you are a content entrepreneur and you are trying to drive subscriptions. You have a drip campaign so that folks are getting educated about the content you provide, the value you provide. Maybe you have consulting, and then once they take a bite of that apple, they buy something. Now they're in a different flow. Well, so too, this event is about the strength of relationships and partnerships and integrations. We've got so many of our integrated partners participating, Help Scout, Rebrandly, Thinkific. There's just a number of them, Calendly at the top of that list as a title sponsor. And they're coming to the table. Many of them will be talking about those integrations and how you leverage it to get value out of ActiveCampaign. But many of them will also be talking about other things, maybe relative to your career, or perhaps to your mental health and well-being. I'm really excited because Rand Fishkin from SparkToro is on top of things, and he's already submitted his one of his sessions he's doing, and it's all about chill work and the philosophy they have at SparkToro that they want to limit the amount of work hours to 32 hours a week so they have life and work balance, truly, not just lip service. And so that's a management of time. So this gets me excited because people are going to walk away with really specific tactical skills and new integrations they can leverage to increase profitability and efficiency, as well as things that they can do in their own careers and in their own lives that's going to give them back time to enjoy the things they love.
It's almost increasing productivity in the business. Like you said, how can we do more with less? So you mentioned this, what was the app that said they want to limit that 32-hour week? Is that a 4-day week concept?
I don't know if SparkToro does the 4-day week, but they basically, because the organization is rather small and they work with a lot of contractors, they're trusting the team, right? They trust the team to work those hours around their schedule, and they're very goal driven. And that takes it out of the illusion that just because you're working harder means you're working better. So that works for them, right? It doesn't necessarily work for everybody. And that's why the variety of content that we have over 29 hours is going to be great for folks. Again, you're not going to consume it all in one sitting, but it should provide you with certainly hours of content that's going to be engaging and you're going to want to tune into, simply to figure out in your business and your life, how do you want to use time more wisely?
It's a great reminder, to do it on the leap day. I know that in Australia, there's a massive topic. A lot of organizations are talking about the 4-day work weeks, and it seems to be like a big trend. Is this something that is also being talked about in the small business community? Is that something that we could use automations to help us achieve all of that?
That's a great question. I have not seen it in kind of the small business community here. I certainly a couple of years ago saw that being discussed quite a lot. I think that here in the States, and probably in many places globally, what happened with COVID and the move to shift back into a virtual or a hybrid kind of work environment changed the dynamic of that conversation. The other thing is that when you're a small business, if you're dealing directly with consumers and let's say it's B2B or B2C, the consumer expectation is what you're managing there. And so often having a 7-day work week or a calendar, certainly for anybody in, restaurants, food service, entertainment, those kind of things is a necessity. It just is a reality of the business. So I think it really depends on the type of industry and it depends on the type of company that you've got, whether that 32-hour work week is practical. Now, I definitely think there are ways to do that in a variety of industries that are probably not explored. But it's one of the reasons why I like putting together this event and having some of that conversation, because we're going to stir the fires of a lot of different conversations in that regard.
Yes, I know there are a lot of people are talking about it. And when we meet with small business owners, they talk about saving time, but they phrase it in a very different way. They always say, I don't have time to do this, and I don't have time to do that. And I wish I had more time to do marketing, and I wish I had more time to spend time with my family. And so this is what I love about automations, that it helps us have an additional resource, an additional pair of hands that can come in and help you do that.
That leads me to one of our other great sessions. We're actually working on a piece of research with DataBox and Duct Tape Marketing, John Jantz's consultancy. And I don't know if it has taken hold in Australia, but in the United States, there is a growing movement of what we call fractional CMOs. So instead of having a chief marketing officer who is 100% employed by one company, you have heads of marketing who are basically doing consulting with a variety of folks, operating as a chief marketing officer, but just for a portion of their time. So we're looking at that right now. We're in market with a survey to understand that trend, understand what are the expectations of the companies hiring them, what are the expectations of the fractional CMOs, the F CMOs that are involved in these kind of arrangements. And what's intriguing about that, and I love that you mentioned the way that the small business owner phrases it, I don't have time, or I need more time, right? It's kind of the negative phrasing of it. And it also is a phrasing that has an air of pain and desperation, right? Like if they know they should be doing this, but they literally can't. Like they've got responsibilities at home. They've got all these things. And that's where it's great to have wonderful partners that we have at ActiveCampaign, because we have a lot of consulting and agency partners, resellers and others who stand ready to help those folks. That's another way you can make time, right? Is that you find the right partner to go and execute that. You get some of these things off your plate. Now, ActiveCampaign, we fully believe, and we see it time and time again, it is easy enough for a business itself to run it, to use it for its marketing automation, its communication, its CRM functions. However, sometimes you've just got so much on your plate, you're better to bring in that fractional CMO or that fractional digital marketer to assist, because it can get you to another level of productivity in the business and profitability in the business, because now you're unleashing the power of intelligent marketing automation and segmentation and all of the data to really have those personalized communications at the moment of greatest interest.
It is very true. It just reminds me of a conversation I just literally had yesterday with a client who's using ActiveCampaign, and they've been trying to do it themselves. You know, they've sorted some things, then they've been on calls with ActiveCampaign experts, and they got some of the features right. I took them a year to make a decision to actually speak to consultants from ActiveCampaign. And once they've had a conversation with us, they were able to walk away with 3 things they could implement that could make a big difference in their business, such as how do we merge sales and marketing together so that we could actually have more transparency and more data and visibility around what happens with our sales and marketing processes, and how do we convert more of those leads into customers. And I love ActiveCampaign because it is a blank canvas, you know, for us who know how to use it, and you become like a painter, maestro, painting a masterpiece. But sometimes business owners might be a bit, this is a bit too much. I can do so much. Where do I start?
And it's important that that small business have the right relationship with that consultant or that agency, right? I've seen it sometimes where the small business's expectations are out of alignment. I've seen it where the agency's expectations are out of alignment. One of the things I didn't share is my background. So you mentioned a little bit of it. I'm kind of an oddity. I was a DJ. I went to law school. I was a lawyer for a period of time before I moved over into marketing. I then became head of an agency that was a reseller partner for ExactTarget and Actron. So I was very used to the partner relationships, and then jumped into SaaS. And that's really where my career has been built. But my heart and my understanding is of that agency and consultant relationship with clients. And it is important that both sides of that feel great relationships. It's important that the business be able to rein in the agency a little bit when it feels like it might be out over its skis. It feels like maybe it's taking on too much. And I like how you did that. It's a building block approach, right? You're never going to be able to boil the ocean. You can't do everything that ActiveCampaign is possible, to do and use every integration in your first year using the platform. You're going to graduate up to greater and greater sophistication. And then that's going to free you up to be even more creative of saying, wow, well, what if we did this kind of email? And I'm just coming off of recording our keynote with Jay Baer. Jay Baer, who is a Hall of Fame speaker. He was a fellow agency head back in the days. We were both resellers of ExactTarget. So we go way, way back. And he's now a global tequila influencer of all things. And if you search his name, you can find that stuff. But he was sharing, and he will share in his keynote, about how he accidentally ordered a pair of custom-made shoes, not realizing they were custom-made, and got the email that told him it would be 8 weeks until he got his shoes. And he immediately was like, oh man, I ordered the wrong thing. But the email was so good because it explained, okay, here's what's going to happen. And here's the guy who's going to make your shoes. And here's a video of him making those shoes. And it had a drip campaign to show him the project and the product he was going to receive. So now he's like being entertained by this. And he's anticipating this delivery of these shoes. That's the kind of creativity that can be unleashed when you make more time, when you automate things. And now you get to a place where, as a business owner, you're no longer stressed because you've got an automation machine helping to deliver the leads or the sales that you need. And you can now think about, how do I deliver that better customer experience with every touch? And how do I make sure that new person coming in the door feels the full strength of our brand and our customer service? So I think folks are really going to enjoy that. I always enjoy hearing Jay speak, and it's been exciting to start to put together the program, because the other thing is, the vast majority of the program is recorded. However, we've got the speakers participating in the live chat. So folks are going to be able to actually chat with their speakers and ask questions. And in some cases, like Jay's, they're actually going to have virtual booths like our sponsors. So you get really intrigued by something Jay said, or something from Calendly, or something from Goldcast, or something from Rebrandly, and now you're going to go jump over. So that's where this is fun. It's such a multifaceted event. We're so excited to have people be able to come and join.
No, that's exciting, and it's about time. I think it's been ages since.
It is about time.
It's
Jovana.
about time. Since we've had big conferences, and I think people really want to come together and talk about these things, especially things that matter. How do I make more time in my business?
Well, it's interesting. I think you're absolutely right. We saw last year an increase, I think, people starting to go back. But it used to be that COVID was the thing that was keeping us from getting together in person. Now it's budgets, right? It's travel budgets. It's the pressure you got at work. So I think you're going to see a rise of a lot of regional events. For instance, here in the States, we're sponsoring some e-commerce summits. They're a great customer of ours. And we're sponsoring the first kind of 4 on their slate. And that also includes one in London. But those are nice and regional, right? So it cuts down on the travel. You can go to those events. And what's really cool, if any of your listeners happen to plan to be in the States, they're actually offering free registration to our ActiveCampaign folks for their Phoenix, their Minneapolis, their London, and their Denver stops. And I think those kind of events around the globe, certainly also in Australia, I think could have a real renaissance, because you cut down on the travel and it allows people to get there and participate right away. For our situation, though, 29 hours global, it's a little hard to do that in person. So it's all virtual.
Yes, we're all superhuman with 29 hours.
Yeah.
I guess you'll share with us some of these links. Maybe we can share with the audience about what's happening with the other events in the US, and also the links for the extravaganza, Leap Day extravaganza.
I'll actually share a couple right now. So the registration for it, again, it's totally free. Please, marketers, small business owners, entrepreneurs, all welcome. leapday.activecampaign.com. And then if you want to participate in some of the other things we're doing, our title sponsor, The Juice, which you can go to at thejuicehq.com, has got a Leap Day countdown calendar. So every day we are releasing a discount or a freebie or a downloadable. So for instance, we're recording this on February 1st, the first day of February. So it was day 1 of our countdown calendar. And as a crazy old DJ, I put together a nearly 8-hour mixtape on Spotify of songs about time. And Jovana, I have to tell you, I am still going through your recommendations. I have to add even more Australian music to it. I was a big fan of Crowded House, and I am ashamed that I did not have 4 Seasons in one day on that mix until you emailed me, because that is one of my favorite songs ever. And it is now in the Father Time Leap Day 2024 mixtape on Spotify. So people can Google that. But The Juice has got this countdown calendar and other things on there. So we've got a variety of ways of folks can participate at this. And if you follow us on LinkedIn or on Instagram or Facebook, ActiveCampaign, on all of those platforms, you're going to see the steady stream of information coming out.
That's great. I'm going to share that. It's exciting to be part of it as well. I was actually curious to know, what will you be doing with your extra spare times? Will you be doing some beekeeping or DJing?
Well, this is the great irony of producing this event. So I have been working around the clock and on nights and weekends since about our Thanksgiving in November to try and make this happen. And so have many of our team. They've really come through and helped put this together. The irony was not lost on me when Rand Fishkin submitted. He was the first to submit one of his presentation recordings, and it was all about their chill work culture, and I'm working around the clock. So I have to realize that I have to kind of, after this event, I'm going to the Grand Canyon with my family and I am decompressing. But you are right. You can see here in the background, I've got some of our jars of honey. I'm a beekeeper, have been for the last 5 years. And I think it's important to take that break and to make time. And it's taken me a while in my career to find that work-life balance. And while it may seem that right now I don't have it, I've realized that my motivators, I love having intense projects. I love things that I can throw myself into and have the ebb and flow so that I have, high intensity right now. And then I'll go into kind of a lower intensity and be able to do some more things. It's nothing you want to sustain, but that's me personally. But everybody has to find kind of their personal kind of center in that and find their hobbies that make them happy. And for me, it's family, friends, it's music, it's travel, it's beekeeping, it's walking my dog Toffee, playing fetch with her. So find those happy things and absolutely use technology, use strategy, use process to reclaim time that you're otherwise wasting on kind of the arduous tasks that don't need to be so manual.
Exactly. I love it. And I was just thinking as you were talking about the beekeeping and the honey, I'm imagining bees working really hard to make this honey and how effective and efficient they are and productive. And they're just an amazing animal. Yeah.
That's a whole other podcast, right? Like one of the things I posted years ago on my LinkedIn was just lessons I'd learned as a beekeeper. But more importantly, the first time I had to recapture a swarm from one of my hives and reflecting on just how when things are going crazy around you, you've got to be very calm in that situation. And you've got to, kind of deal with it with a direct kind of approach and calmness. If you're freaking out in that moment, the bees are going to freak out, and that's not a good situation. So there are a lot of good lessons to be learned from beekeeping. So I'm a big fan of it. If anybody wants to talk shop, I'm willing to for sure. Find me on threads these days at Jeff Rohrs.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeffrey. Jeff, I should call you Jeff. Jeffrey?
It's shorter. It saves you time. Jeff is fine.
My nickname is JV. That's what.
Oh, all right, JV. I got you.
Joint venture. Save time.
Very nice.
And thank you so much for your time today. I was going to make a joke. I'm not sure whether that would be a funny joke, but when is the Leap Day event?
So again, if you're in Australia, it's going to start at 8 a.m. on February 29th on Leap Day. And it is going to run for 29 hours from that point. So it's going to run into your March 1st. So make sure you're there. If you're in other places in the world, you just go to leapday.activecampaign.com. When you register, you're going to get an email from us and from Goldcast that actually gives you a calendar appointment specific to your time zone. So you don't need to worry about it. And then in the first or second week of February, we're going to publish the agenda. And that's your opportunity to go through the agenda, click the little calendar button next to the sessions you absolutely want to attend so you can add them to your own calendar. That way you can dip in and out of the event. But if you want to tailgate this thing and do all 29 hours, I want you to hit me up on Threads because I'll be doing that myself. We'll be crazy together and hopefully have a great time.
Lots of coffee, lots of caffeine.
Diet Coke for me. That's the drink of choice for me. Coffee is fine for others.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking with you today.
Thank you. Likewise.